Delaware. Welcome to another edition of SNL, Saturday Night Library Trivia. Tonight, we have a very special theme. I'm sure you can guess from the background. It's 90s. This series was created by Amber and Carrie at the Pal Branch, and I'm your host, Mandy, also from the Pal Branch. I want to point out that I didn't know I had a mullet until I saw this picture. Here are the rules. Today, there are 3 rounds of trivia. If you want to grab a piece of paper and a pen, go ahead. Feel free to pause this video at any time. There is no time limit for answers. Using your phone is cheating. Do not be a cheater. And the prize for the winning person is that you're super smart and everybody knows it. Today's theme is the 90s. If you want to number your piece of paper, round 1 is 90s movies and TV, and there are 20 questions. Round 2 is 90s current affairs, which is no longer current, and there are 15 questions. And round 3 is 90s music, and there are also 15 questions. All right, let's get ready for trivia. You guys ready? Let's do it. Round 1, 90s TV and movies. Question 1. Which film was the first ever animated movie to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Picture? Toy Story, Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King, or Pocahontas? Question 2. Clueless was very, very loosely based on which Jane Austen novel? Question 3. What is the name of the high school in Boy Meets World? Question 4. What is the name of this character from Jurassic Park? If you remember, you can hear his voice right now. Question 5. In Ghost, what does Sam, played by Patrick Swayze obviously, slide up the door to convince Molly he's there? Question 6. Who shot Mr. Burns? It's a two-parter. Question 7. On Full House, Uncle Jesse had a last name before it was Katsopoulos. What was it? This is only season 1, I think. Question 8. What was the highest grossing film of the 90s? Was it Lion King, Titanic, Jurassic Park, or Star Wars Episode 1? Question 9. Name this character from X-Files, and bonus, what is the name of his newspaper? Question 10. On Beverly Hills 90210, how did Scott, David's best friend, die? Question 11. The Hellmouth was a supernatural portal on which 90s TV show? Sabrina the Teenage Witch, Charmed, Buffy, or The X-Files? You guys watch that new Sabrina on Netflix? I kind of like that thing. Question 12. What word did Billy Madison spell correctly to win the spelling bee? This gif was the only thing I remembered about this movie. Question 13. Which of these 90s movies has the most curse words? Is it Reservoir Dogs, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, which is technically from 2001, but I'm putting it in there, Casino, or Beavis and Butthead Do America? Bonus, if you want to try to guess the number of curse words, if you get in the same hundreds category, I'll give you a hint, it's more than 100. If you get in the same hundreds category, you can do a bonus point. Question 14. Who played Bruce Wayne's love interest in Batman Forever? Look at that picture, it's crazy. That movie was crazy. Question 15. What are the character names of the two burglars in Home Alone? So not the actor names, the names of the characters. Question 16. What song is playing during the dance-off in Pulp Fiction? Question 17. Name the theme song from the Wonder Years. Look at that mullet on the far left. Woof. That's a glorious one. Question 18. Who is this character from King of the Hill? I literally can't look at him without laughing. You guys watch King of the Hill? I think it's funny. Question 19. Name the two killers from Silence of the Lambs. One is easier than the other. And question 20. What is Blossom's most famous fashion accessory? There's a couple right answers for this one, but, go with the main one. All right, round 2, 90s current events. So they're no longer current, but they were current then. Number 1, if the glove doesn't fit, finish the sentence. Man, I watched so much OJ, you guys. That was my life. Come home every day. OJ. Oof. Question 2. What was the name of the sheep who was the first successfully cloned animal in 1996? Question 3. What was the name of the Pentagon employee who secretly recorded phone conversations with Monica Lewinsky in which she talked about her affair with Bill Clinton? I got this wrong, and then I saw the answers, and I was like, oh, yeah. Question 4. What was the name of the cult that clashed with the FBI and ATF in Waco, Texas in 1993? So I'm looking for the name of the cult, not the infamous cult leader. Question 5. During the 90s, Michael Jordan led the Chicago Bulls to how many NBA championships? Question 6. The 1996 Summer Olympics were held in which city? Question 7. What was the real name of the Unabomber? There's a crazy documentary about the Unabomber on Netflix right now that we've been watching. Question 8. In 1997, who became the first woman to be appointed as the Secretary of State in the United States? Question 9. What is the name of the comet that was visible in 1997? That's not actually it. I just thought that was funny. Question 10. What internet search engine giant was unleashed in 1998? Question 11. What is this? You know what this is. I don't know, maybe you don't, but I had this. I had the shirt. I had the folder. Man. This Good times. Ooh, the pencils and the stickers were so good. You remember the stickers? You remember those stickers? Oh, it's the best. Question 12. What year was Princess Diana killed in a Paris car crash? This was like a little later than I was thinking it was. Question 13. Who sang the Star Spangled Banner at Super Bowl 25? Question 14. Who was the Pope through the 90s? And question 15. What is this? You know what this is. If you knew what the other thing was, you put them in that. Well, I mean, maybe. All right, round 3, 90s music, and there are 15 questions in this category as well. Question 1, which of these albums sold more records? So you're looking at Alanis Morissette's Jagged Little Pill. I think the Spice Girls album is just self-named, but if I'm wrong, put it in the comments. And then Britney Spears' Baby One More Time, obviously. Question 2. At what event did Michael Jackson have an onstage kiss with his then-wife Lisa Marie Presley? You don't need to do the year, just the event. Question 3. Lollapalooza first began in Chicago's Grant Park in what year? This was earlier than I thought it was. Question 4. Name the title of the song. I am not going to read these lyrics because nothing's worse than somebody reading song lyrics, but you guys can read them. Question 5. I Want It That Way was a hit single from what 1999 Backstreet Boys album? 1999 is kind of a hint on this one. Question 6. VH1's Song of the 90s. Which song was voted number 1? Question 7. Name the 90s singer and this number 1 hit song. That outfit seemed so normal in the 90s, and now I look at him like, what? What is that? Question 8. What is the name of the famous candy that the Foo Fighters parodied in their song Big Me? Question 9. Mariah Carey had her first number 1 song of the 90s with which song? Question 10. Name this song and artist. This was my senior year and I was all over this thing. Now I'm like, what was I listening to? But at the time I was like, this is the best song ever. Question 11. Which member of which hip-hop band burned her football player boyfriend's house down? So I'm looking for the name of the person and the name of the band. Question 12. What band was too sexy for their shirt, their cat, Milan, New York, and Japan? What were we thinking in the 90s, you guys? Really? Like, what were we thinking? Question 13. What rockers built a studio and recorded in the house where Sharon Tate had been killed? My husband and I both got this wrong. I don't know if I can... I don't think I can make a clue without giving it away, but we both got this wrong. Question 14. What famous star appeared in Paula Abdul's Rush Rush video? And question 15. Whose memorial service marked the first time in 30 years that all three surviving Beatles appeared together in public? I'm an enormous Beatles fan and I got this wrong. But then when I heard the answer, I was like, oh yeah. Alright, here are the answers. Take a second to make sure you got everything answered and all your ducks in a row, and then we will go through the answers. Alright, number 1. The film that was the first ever animated movie to be nominated for an Academy Award is actually Beauty and the Beast. I would have guessed Lion King all day long for that, but it's Beauty and the Beast. Question 2. Clueless is very loosely based on the Jane Austen novel Emma, but that's kind of a stretch. If you guessed none of them, like none of the Jane Austen novels, give yourself a half point. Question 3. The name of the high school in Boy Meets World is John Adams High. Question 4. It's Mr. DNA. I love Jurassic Park. Question 5. In Ghost, Sam slides a penny up the door so Molly can see that he's there. Question 6. Who shot Mr. Burns? It was Maggie. She didn't mean to. He got extra evil and stole her candy, and then she shot him on accident. It's probably not the best thing for a baby to have a revolver, but, you know, it's cool. Question 7. On Full House, Uncle Jesse had the last name Cochran before he was Katsopoulos. But, is it John Stamos who plays Uncle Jesse? It is. He wanted it to reflect his Greek heritage, so they changed it in season 2 to Katsopoulos. Question 8. Titanic was the highest grossing movie of the 90s. For a second I thought, oh man, maybe that's episode 1. But no, Titanic. I'm like, womp womp. Question 9. The character from X-Files is Melvin Frohike, and his newspaper is The Lone Gunman. So if you got Melvin Frohike, give yourself 1 point. If you also got The Lone Gunman, give yourself 2. Question 10. Scott died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but it was accidental. He was playing with a gun earlier in the show and then accidentally shot himself, I think on his birthday or something. It's crazy. 11. Hellmouth is a portal in Buffy. Yay, Buffy. Question 12. The word that Billy Madison spelled correctly was couch. Couch, I guess it can be kind of hard. Question 13. The 90s movie that had the most curse words is Casino. Of those 3 pictured, there was actually a higher one that was like a Son of Sam movie. I've never seen it before. But this one, Casino, had 606 curse words. So if my mom will not watch a movie with a curse word in it. So if you're like that, if you're like my mom, don't watch Casino, for sure. Number 14. Nicole Kidman played Bruce Wayne's love interest in Batman Forever. It's like such a crazy picture. So it seems so long ago when you look at that picture. Question 15. The burglars in Home Alone are Harry and Marv. Question 16. The song played during the dance-off in Pulp Fiction is You Never Can Tell by Chuck Berry. If you guessed Miserlou by Dick Dale, that's like the iconic Pulp Fiction song, but it's not in the dance scene. Number 17. The theme song from The Wonder Years is I Get By With a Little Help from My Friends, and it's the Joe Cocker version. Number 18. That character from King of the Hill is Jeffrey Dexter Jeff Boomhauer III. I love Boomhauer. If you guys like King of the Hill, Google Boomhauer 911 call. I just watched it. It was pretty funny. Question 19. The two killers from Silence of the Lambs are Hannibal Lecter, which everybody remembers, and Buffalo Bill, which people tend to forget, even though he's really the main plot point of the movie. Apparently, the book and the movie are very loosely based on when the Green River Killer hadn't been apprehended yet. They asked Ted Bundy to profile him from prison. So that's apparently kind of the start of the idea for Silence of the Lambs. And 20. Blossom's most famous fashion accessory. Okay, I'll accept a hat with a flower on it. I'll accept a floppy hat. I'll accept a giant flower. I'll accept a flower hat. I'll accept anything close to a floppy hat, a normal hat, a flower. Any of those would work. All right, round 2. Current events from the 90s. Number 1. If the glove doesn't fit, you must have quit, clearly. Johnny Cochran, man. Woo. Question 2. The name of the first successfully cloned animal was Dolly. I said Dottie. My husband had to correct me. Question 3. The person who secretly recorded phone conversations with Monica Lewinsky was Linda Tripp. Question 4. The name of the cult was the Branch Davidians. The name of the cult leader was David Koresh. If you guys just were like us and crushed the Waco miniseries on Netflix, you definitely knew this one. Number 5. The Bulls won 6 national championships in 10 years. I thought it was 4, honestly, and I was a big Bulls fan back then. 6. You guys remember that one when Michael Jordan went to play baseball for a season and he came back and they won another championship? It's like, what? 7. The Summer Olympics, obviously, Atlanta. It was a big deal. Number 8. The Unabomber's real name is Theodore John Ted Kaczynski. I'll take Ted Kaczynski, though. Not the whole thing. And spelling, I'm not counting spelling. That last name's crazy. Number 8. The first woman to be appointed Secretary of State was Madeleine Albright. Number 9, it was the Hale-Bopp comet. One of the original questions on this that Amber and Carrie made up was, what was the name of the cult around Hale-Bopp? It was called Heaven's Gate. I always thought it was called the Hale-Bopp cult as well, but it wasn't. It's Heaven's Gate. Number 10, 1998 was the start of the Google search engine. If you guys remember Web Crawler or Ask Jeeves, you're like about my age. 11. It's Lisa Frank! It was every folder I had from the years like 1989 to 1994 or something. Ugh. Lisa Frank. Awesome. Number 12. Princess Diana was killed in a car crash in 97. I don't know why I thought that was sooner than that. 13. You guys remember Whitney at the Super Bowl. It was incredible. I actually couldn't remember anybody else that sang the Super Bowl theme in the 90s, but I was like, maybe it's Whitney, and it was. 14, Pope John Paul II was the 90s Pope, and there's the Pope-mobile. 15, it's a Trapper Keeper. You know if you had one. Ugh, why don't we use those still? It looks like I'm gonna buy one and take them to library meetings, and then I'll be so organized. It'll be amazing. All right, round 3, 90s music. The album that sold more was Jagged Little Pill, which made me happy because that's an amazing album, but I totally would have guessed. I guessed Spice Girls, actually. Number 2, Michael Jackson kissed Lisa Marie at the MTV Music Awards, and it was the 94, but you did not have to have the number. 3, Lollapalooza began in 91. My husband got this right, and I said 93 or 4. Because I remembered in middle school people being like, I went to Lollapalooza. It's like, dude, you're 12. No, you didn't. You did not go to Lollapalooza. But it was 91. Number 4, this song is In Bloom by Nirvana. A really good video, too. Number 5, the album the song I Want It That Way came off of was called Millennium, and it came out in 99, but I don't know, maybe it was even released in 2000, so that was the clue. Number 6, another Nirvana answer. In the songs of the 90s on VH1, the number 1 song was Smells Like Teen Spirit. Number 7, it was Shania Twain, whose real first name is Eileen, by the way. I found that out doing this. And the song was That Don't Impress Me Much. But that outfit, very impressive. Number 8, the Foo Fighters parodied Mentos in their song Big Me. Number 9, Mariah Carey's first number 1 hit was Vision of Love, which I don't think I even remember. 10, the song that I couldn't get enough of when I was 17 was Smooth by Carlos Santana and Rob Thomas, who my husband has informed me was from Matchbox 20. If that is not true, please comment below. Question 11, Lisa Left Eye Lopez burned her boyfriend's house down and her band was TLC. 12, the band that was too sexy was Right Said Fred, and I think it's a time in the 90s we'd all just rather act like didn't happen. 13, so the rocker that built a studio and recorded in the house where Sharon Tate was murdered was 9 Inch Nails. I would have guessed Marilyn Manson all day long on that. My husband got this wrong too, but I looked it up to verify. It's 9 Inch Nails. And I can't tell, Trent Reznor may or may not still own that studio. If you find out, comment below. 14, Keanu was in Rush Rush. I thought this was the song with the animated, like the Roger Rabbit thing. It's not. It's Keanu. He knows Kung Fu. And question 15, the memorial service that was the first time in 30 years that all 3 surviving Beatles appeared was Linda McCartney's memorial service, which makes total sense. But then I was like, why didn't all 3 surviving Beatles go to John Lennon's memorial? And it turns out they didn't have one. That Yoko Ono had him cremated privately and either scattered or buried his ashes, and nobody knows where that is, except Yoko, obviously. So how did you do? If you got 0 to 20 correct, you are younger than 20, because that would have been the end of the 90s. If you are 20 to 35, you remember all that. And if you're over 35, you are a 90s historian. You remember everything. You were definitely running around in the 90s. Thanks for playing, everybody. Tune in next week where our theme is going to be fast food.